major trial in the Capitol riots investigation is now underway in D.C. 5 members of the extremist group known as the Oath Keepers appeared in court for day one of jury selection. They face charges of conspiring against the government, which could send them to prison for decades if they are convicted.
Investigative reporter Jordan Fisher is here with us now to break down all these details. Now, Jordan, I know we've seen several of these trials, but what makes this one different?
Yeah, Leslie, a couple things make this one stand out. First and foremost, just the number of defendants. There are 9 people currently charged in this case. They've broken that up into 2 groups. The first 5, which includes Oath Keepers President Stewart Rhodes, are in jury selection right now. And the second thing we're looking at is these seditious conspiracy charges that you mentioned. It's not a charge you see a lot. In fact, the most recent case the DOJ brought with that charge was involved defendants who were accused to be members of Al-Qaeda. We're also expecting to see a pretty interesting defense from some of these Oath Keeper members who are going to argue that they were preparing not to oppose the government, but for the former president, Donald Trump, to activate them via the Insurrection Act. Now, I expect we'll hear a lot more about that from them once the trial begins and we really get into the meat of the government's case.
So here's what we all want to know. So we know the Capitol riots had national impact, but it happened in our backyard, right? And so the juries are made up of our neighbors. And I guess we're kind of wondering how you think that's playing into all of this.
That's been a big issue throughout. Venue changes are very common in any criminal case, and we've seen that from a number of January 6 defendants. The Oath Keepers have really led the charge on that. In fact, one of the Oath Keepers attorneys last year got a little bit of a rebuke from a judge for suggesting that D.C. residents despise traditional American values, was the way he put it. This is sort of the test. This is what judges say. Get to jury selection, get to voir dire, let us ask jurors if they can be fair. And if they can't, then we'll move it out of D.C. And if they can, then that's due process. That's how the system's supposed to work. And so today, we've had, I had to leave a little early to come here and talk to you guys, but we had 10 jurors that were already qualified. 17 had been questioned at that point. They need to get to 45. So that's the goal.
All right. We've seen a number of these cases going through the courts so far, Jordan. So are there any others we should be paying close attention to right now? Well,
I was bouncing around the courthouse all day today, so we had 2 other hearings of interest. First off was Kyle Fitzsimons. He was a butcher from Maine. He was convicted today of 11 counts, including 4 counts of assaulting police. One of those police officers was United States Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Ganell. Fitzsimons is the man accused of, well, now convicted of, causing the injury that has ended Sergeant Ganell's career, ripping his shield down, tearing his shoulder, required surgery, and is now not allowing him to continue on the police force. The other defendant who was in court today, his name was Kyle Young. He's from Iowa. He pleaded guilty to assaulting another police officer, former D.C. police officer Mike Fanone. Today he was sentenced to 86 months in prison. If you're not great at math, that's 7 years in prison, one of the longest sentences.
I was going to say one of the longest ones, yeah, because previous to that it was 5 years, right?
Right. There have been a few in the 7 range. There's been one defendant, Thomas Webster, who got 10 years, but 7 is a substantial sentence and one of the highest we've seen.
All right, a lot to keep up with.
Yeah.
Jordan Fisher, thank
Thanks
you as
for
always.
Doing a great job of that too.
Yeah, and if you want to see more of Jordan's reporting on the Capitol riot investigations, you can subscribe to our Capitol Breach newsletter. Just point your phone's camera at the QR code to sign up, and we'll email you updates every week and, of course, when big news breaks.